wants to become a developed nation by 2020. India has got the nearest neighboring competitor like China. What is the greatness about China?
China, as India has done over the years, has developed its economy and it has concentrated on manufacturing just as India has concentrated on services. However, what I notice is China has a catch-up and a leapfrog strategy versus its competitor, which is United States and possibly some countries in Europe. So they have been able to use what I call competitive intelligence to gain the understanding of the technologies and the processes and the strengths and weaknesses of some of these global corporations and create their own advantage over these competitors. And hence, China is at $6-point-something trillion of economy and growing faster than India.
How do you compare China with the US and India?
I think each country has its own technical and other competencies, and what I'm suggesting is rather than look at US alone, that we also look at our neighbor China, which has a lot to offer for us. Rather than seeing China as an adversary or even a competitor, look at China as a partner and learn from them using competitive intelligence techniques.
How Indian corporates and Indian companies can manage the competition of China?
Again, it is through a process of rigorously tested management techniques and methodologies. Competitive intelligence is not spying, it is not industrial espionage. It is a legal, ethical process by which you understand how your competitors behave, what are their strengths and weaknesses, what are their methodologies. All of this information is available in public domain, and I think it is time that Indian corporates, rather than fearing the competition from China, start to learn about the competition.
You say that it is ethical and it's value based. How our Indian companies can use the corporate intelligence? What are the tools or any other methodologies?
We have a number of different ways. We actually teach this as a course in MBAs in various universities in the US, in Australia, and so forth. In fact, I know for a fact competitive intelligence is taught to MBAs in universities of China. They offer research scholarships, they have PhDs in competitive intelligence, and they have competitive intelligence centers embedded into various clusters of industries, research institutions, R&D labs, and universities and so forth, and to give the students and give the industry leaders and the management the capacity to apply these techniques in learning how their global competitors behave.
You are talking about competitive intelligence and business intelligence. What is the difference between business intelligence and competitive intelligence? And to what extent in India the corporates are practicing both the intelligence?
Okay. Competitive intelligence is primarily about predicting the future. Before you make a decision, before you go down a direction, before you launch a product, what is the playing field look like? What are the competitors doing in the space and likely to do in the space? So it is about the future, it's about predicting, looking at the future, both from a company perspective as well as the competitor perspective and the customer perspective as well. The business intelligence is more of an IT terminology. However, it is still intelligence that is gathered from existing data that is already captured by the corporation using technologies such as data warehousing and analytical tools to assess specifically where and how we can get some insights about our business. So by its very nature, business intelligence tends to be about the past. Yes, recognizing the past, particularly the last couple of year's or current year's performance is a good indicator perhaps of the future and what directions we want to take. But what comparative intelligence does is include the business intelligence as well as the market intelligence, and goes beyond to say what is the future is going to look like. It looks at the scenarios, it looks at possible triggers and events, it looks at possible moves by the competitors and the marketplace and shifts in the marketplace and so forth, and integrates that intelligence into the decision-making process.
Is it anything connected to the market research?
It is an extension of the market research, if you want to think about it that way. The market research is still about what is the customer's preferences, choices, likes, dislikes, and so forth of the current situation, the current product. But comparative intelligence, again, takes that one step further into the future.
How do you find the Indian corporates, whether they go with the market intelligence or competitive intelligence?
The competitive intelligence is not a widely practiced discipline in the management of the corporations in India. There are some companies that are world leading, that have a process and people in place to manage their competitive intelligence practice in house. There are not many companies and consultants and knowledge that's available in the marketplace as well. So it is a well-established practice with the global corporations out of the US, out of Europe, out of Australia, and so forth, and increasingly out of China as well. So I urge the Indian corporations to pick up on the competitive intelligence and take them forward. More than any other country, India ought to be doing this, because I would like to quote here something from Thiruvalluvar, who wrote in Thirukural more than 2000 years ago. Vinay valiyum tan valiyum, matran valiyum, tunai valiyum tukki chayal. What he is saying here is study or assess very carefully the nature of the task, the strength of your foes, in this case competitors, and your allies, the partners of your business, and the self and your own company's competencies before you launch any action. Isn't that what comparative intelligence is all about? This modern management technique has been well written in a very short 2 verses by Thiruvalluvar more than 2000 years ago, and we ought to know this and practice it. Thank you very much.